Welcome back, everybody. It is book club night, or, well, it's book club night when I'm recording this, and it's any time of day. That's really loud. I'm sorry. It's any time of day when you're finding this on YouTube. I'm in super chillax mode. The gym today crushed me. So I'm in super chillax mode. Anywho, I've got a sneeze coming. Hi, welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Rose. I'm a variety streamer. I'm getting my foot through the door on doing the whole YouTube and TikTok thing more seriously this year. So if you'd like to follow me there, I'm JimRoseVol1 on all platforms. Following, subscribing, all that good jazz would be greatly appreciated. Trying to grow, you know, every one of you matters. Anywho, we are in chapter 12 this week. We are in the last chapter of book 1 of the Fellowship of the Ring, called Flight to the Ford. And this chapter was intense. I'm very excited to hear everybody's discussion on this one, because very different from the movie, but also very similar. So anywho, we're gonna get into that. And I hope you stick around for the whole thing. And if you have any comments about, you know, if you've read this before and what you thought about this chapter, if you've been following along, by all means, please sound off in the comments. Would love to hear discussion points or things that you really like about this chapter, or just Tolkien in general. Like, please, by all means, chime in. We love to hear it. So without further ado, let me get into the VC and let's get discussing. Welcome to book club. And I should have pushed the button then. Welcome to book club. Hello. Oh, is Raven really roboto for everybody else?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, friends.
Hello. Hello.
All right.
Hey.
I have a lot of comments about this chapter. I don't know about you guys, but I have a lot of comments about this chapter. I gave my little intro and I said, I was like, I feel like this chapter, though the movie captured its essence really well, obviously the movie is very different from the book in certain key ways. But I still felt, like I said, I still feel like the essence of the chapter and what was, you know, what took place was translated well, though different. And something that we've talked about both when we read The Hobbit and up to this point in the Fellowship, whatchamacallit, I feel like Tolkien did an amazing job in the book conveying how much time has passed. I mean, he literally like spells out how much time has passed, whereas in the movie it does not feel like a lot. Well, now I'm kind of like replaying in my mind. It kind of does and it kind of doesn't at the same time. But anywho, so obviously where we left off, Annie's being adorable behind me. Obviously where we left off, Frodo had just gotten stabbed at Weathertop by the Witch King, all that good jazz. Woo, so exciting. And so, you know, and we had, I think it was right at the end, you know, Strider's like running after them and, yeah. So, you know, it's like everybody's on the defensive when this chapter first kicks off. You know, they thought that Strider was one of the ring wraiths. It's like, no, it's me, you know, and everything. And like, let's see, where was the first thing that I was going to mention in here? Oh yeah. When they talk about the dagger that he was stabbed with, I did like how because I don't think, I know in the movie they call it like the Morgul blade or whatever.
Yes.
Do they explicitly say that in here? I forget. I don't think they explicitly call it that, do they?
I don't remember them calling it that in the book.
Oh, okay. Is that in some supplemental text somewhere as to why we know that that's what that is, or?
Yeah, if it's not mentioned specifically in this, then yeah, it would be in its own text,
Okay.
or it would be brought up later.
Okay. Was just curious. Anywho, but I did like how they were very like descriptive, and also like in the movie, you know, Aragorn's holding it and it like, you know, dissolves, right? And I was wondering, you know, ooh, like was that just for the movie? And it's like, nope, there's literally this paragraph where it's like, let's see, where is it? But even as he held it up in the growing light, they gazed in astonishment, for the blade seemed to melt and vanish like a smoke in the air, leaving only the hilt in Strider's hand.
One-time use.
Yes, single use, not reusable.
Non-recyclable.
This is a single use plastic. Oh, oh no. That'd be funny if somebody like cosplayed it and literally made it out of like a non-recyclable filament or something, where it's like single use filament. Anyways, let's see. But then, you know, it's like they mention the FLS, you know, the weed, King's foil, you know, and everything. I was kind of bummed though that like, you know, he doesn't ask for Sam to help him find it like it does in the movie. But it was also interesting because obviously like in the movie, when they're out looking for the King's foil is when Arwen shows up. So it's like, and obviously spoiler, like she's not in this at all in this chapter. But like that was also interesting because you know, it's like we found the FLS, and then it's like, you know, then they start, you know, moving, and it's like Frodo, like throughout this whole part until what's his name shows up,
Glorfindel.
yeah, Glorfindel shows up. Like Frodo is like semi conscious, he talks, he's reactive to things, he communicates, like he rides a horse by himself, for crying out loud. Like, you know, he's semi-conscious, whereas obviously like in this scene in the movie, like he's in this like zombie state.
There's a big jump to like, yeah, there's a lot of time missing between when he gets stabbed in Trollshaw, where they find the trolls. Like,
Yep.
even in the movie, it's like a slam cut to when they're by the trolls.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That was something I really noticed about this chapter, was exactly that, Calder, is that it's like Tolkien literally says like, you know, day 5 of this, and day, you know, like they're like days into journeying from Weathertop. And I agree, is that it's like in the movie it's like, oh, it's like overnight, you know, or like a day or two tops, you know, that they're traveling. Or it feels that way, it feels very quick.
Right.
And it's just like, oh look, like Sam's literal line I think in the movie is like, look, Mr. Frodo, it's Mr. Bilbo's trolls, you know, and it's like, you know, and yeah, so excuse me. So yeah, it's like the sense of time in the movie is kind of completely lost, whereas and don't they look for the King's foil at the trolls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, in the movie. So that's another
Yeah,
like,
but
yeah.
I'd say a big part of that is the expediency of the medium. For
Well,
instance,
absolutely.
in movies, you need to move faster than in a book.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
you can take your time with the book.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was more of a like, I don't think it was, good or bad, better or worse in one way or the other. But yeah, it's like, yeah, in a book, you can take a lot longer to explain and time, like pass time, and you can fill time and stuff like that. Whereas, yeah, a movie, it's like the Lord of the Rings extended editions are long enough. Like, we don't need to spend a literal week of them running through the woods.
Whoa,
What?
whoa, whoa. Let's not speak blasphemy here, buddy.
Hey, let it be known that last summer I sat in a movie theater watching the entire extended edition in my full Hearthguard kit, and I was the only one dressed up. So I was wearing the chainmail and the furs and everything. Like 4 hours sitting. Yes, in air conditioning, that was the one saving grace. But I wore it all. I wore it all. I walked into that movie theater proud. And I got a lot of compliments. No photos though. I was kind of mad about that. But it's like, it's like I love those movies. I will happily do a start to finish Lord of the Rings extended edition movie marathon. You just name the date and place. I will be there. Anyways, let's see.
You know what the movies lacked in this part?
What?
The singing.
Yeah, there was like Sam's whole like,
You find out about Sam being a poet.
Yeah.
You miss out.
Yeah. There was also a line. There was also a line in here. Hold on. I think Frodo says to Sam.
I'm learning a lot about him this trip, right?
Yes. It's literally right after the singing, and I really liked this because, again, I know how the ending is because movies, but yeah, like that line exactly, Mork. I am learning a lot about Sam Gamgee on this journey. First, he was a conspirator. Now he's a jester. He'll end up by becoming a wizard or a warrior. And he said, and then I hope not, said Sam. I don't want to be neither. And that's really interesting because of what we know of where, again, my experience with the movies is what we know of Sam long term through the trilogy is like, yeah, he does become a warrior and a hero and in his own right, different than what Merry and Pippin get to become respectively, but like still very much way more warrior-esque than any hobbit dreams of, kind of thing. And it's like, I think that's that old saying of like, it's like, it's what like that kind of concept of like, you might wish to never become this thing, but like sometimes it just finds you, and it's I completely butchered that, but there's some like turn of phrase where it's like, sometimes things just come to you and it's like, here it is. Anywho, but yeah, it's like Sam, right? I mean, for me, it's like a page and hold on. It's like almost 2 pages of song and in my copy of the book. And I don't know. It's just like, wow. Like,
those are the things when I'm listening to the audio books, I'm like, I wish I could fast forward to the end of the songs. Although at least this one is in English. There's some parts in the books where there's like songs in Elvish where I'm like, listen, those are the things when I'm reading it, I would just like, yeah, I'm not going to read any of those words. Let's cross to the end of it. When you're reading the audiobook, it's a little bit harder to fast forward. So at least it's in English, but it is fun to, it is a fun little interlude in here.
And I think it helps cut the tension a little bit of like the intensity of, Frodo's dying, but still kind of conscious, but then also they don't know really how far away from Rivendell they are, so it's like, are we there yet and everything, and it's like, here's some song, and it was, I do like this connection to Bilbo from the standpoint of like, hey, we literally found the trolls that he and the dwarves and Gandalf like they were here, like we are on the same ground that Thorin Oakenshield and everybody, it's like, that's like a cool thing to be like, cool tie-in that isn't just like a, you know, oh, Bilbo and told Frodo and Sam about these tales. Woo! It's like, yeah, but he's actually going to the places that Bilbo's been. So.
Although one thought that just came to my mind that's kind of weird is so when the hobbits were heading toward, or when the Hobbit and the dwarves and the Hobbit were running towards Rivendell, I would have thought they would have taken a fairly direct road. Where in this case, we know they're specifically trying to be off the beaten path as far as possible. So why was it that Bilbo was this far off the beaten path? Were they trying to avoid the road in the Hobbit? Because I'm wondering why, because they're specifically off the beaten path and they
Right.
run into it. Why was Bilbo in the dwarves so far off the beaten path if they were heading to Rivendell?
It's specifically because they're heading to Rivendell.
Mm.
So the path to Rivendell is not necessarily a straight road.
Although they talk about they're trying to avoid the road. We read specifically in this book, right? And so they were trying to do those off paths where they could do stuff. And granted, they did find a path, which is where they found the troll horde on. But it sounds like there is still a fairly well-established road that leads to the ruins or the fords of Bruin or whatever that they could have taken, but they decided, for whatever reason they didn't. Now, once again, I don't know how relevant that is. I'd have to go back and relook at the Hobbit again to say, how hard were they trying to travel towards Rivendell versus they just ended up there?
Maybe the dwarves couldn't help but get lost because they didn't have a guide, like Gandalf had left them at that point. And then Frodo's company has Strider, who's actively trying to keep them from
That's
the
true.
road.
Well, and never mind. No.
Sorry to bring that up. Just random thought I had.
No,
No,
that's exactly what book club is for. Backtracking a little bit because we did skip a few pages by jumping to the song, which is totally fine. But backtracking a little bit when they're like they're in the land with like the towers and stuff, where Strider was saying like, excuse me, men once dwelt here ages ago, but none remain now. But all were destroyed in the war that brought the North Kingdom to its end. And like, he's like the heirs of Elendil? Like just like Elendil, cool. Do not forget all things past, and many more things that I can tell are remembered in Rivendell. And then like I liked this little, like it's like what, 2 sentences, but like Frodo's question here of have you often been to Rivendell, said Frodo. I have, said Strider. I dwelt there once, and still I return when I may. There my heart is, which it's like ding 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 ding, but it is not my fate to sit in peace even in the fair house of Elrond. And it's like, that is interesting, because obviously like Aragorn has an extremely nomadic lifestyle and nomadic character, like always on the go, always moving, and obviously like he's shoved off, so to speak, his King of Gondor King of Gondor like responsibilities for so long, just because he hasn't sat down, to actually go do them, and everything. And like the whole like there my heart is, and it's just like, oh, so adorable. Love, true love. Sorry, I just watched Princess Bride over the
Marriage.
yeah. Yeah. Well, the line, derailment here for a second. The line, a dweem within a dweem. Like my quality engineering team at work, we have a group chat and like a meeting every Monday to kind of just touch base, see if we need any help with anything, whatever. Our group chat's called the Dweem team, and I'm like, Princess Bride, the Dweem team. Anyways, sorry, complete derailment there, but anywho, yeah, so that was just kind of like a cool, like a little bit more glimpse into Aragorn, which I like. Especially because it is just such a little teaser snippet of like, oh, he's been there. Oh, his heart's there, but he doesn't like to stay there, but he does like to visit often. Uh, excuse me. And stuff like that. It's just neat little glimpses, which is cool.
My favorite part is where is it Mary comes? No, I think it's Pippin. He comes back saying that there's trolls up ahead, and Strider's like has a little mini heart attack because he thinks he's now off on top of everything. He has to deal with trolls in the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite part because it's like the first person to get mad at Pippin on the journey.
Doesn't he like hit one of them or something? Like trying to wake it up or something? Did I miss that or did I misread that?
He brings a stick, but it's very much he knows because he tells them afterwards. Y'all forgot your basic anatomy and physiology of trolls.
Yeah.
A troll in the middle of the day is dead troll. So he took the stick as a way to. He was being dramatic.
That's yeah. I kind of got oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was saying he scolds him because it does say he walks up to him unconcernedly, but he scolds him later. It's like, it is broad daylight with a bright sun, and yet you come back trying to scare me with a tale of living troll or live trolls waiting for us in this glade. It's like it's just the first piston blowing on Pippin.
Yep. Well, and it's that mischievousness of Pippin as well, and it's like that's also kind of cool to see that he's feeling comfortable enough with Aragorn and company to play those kinds of tricks. It's kind of cool. Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is the line. Strider walked forward unconcernedly. "Get up, old stone," he said, and broke his stick upon the stooping troll. Nothing happened. There was a gasp of astonishment from the hobbits, and then even Frodo laughed. "Well," he said, "we are forgetting our family history. These must be the very three that were caught by Gandalf quarreling over the right way to cook 13 dwarves and 1 hobbit." Yep. And then, yeah, like you said, Strider makes the comment about the anatomy of trolls. Yeah, then we get the song from Sam. Yeah, and the little, like, tidbit there as well as in the afternoon, they went on down the woods. They were probably following the very track that Gandalf, Bilbo, and the dwarves had used many years before. Again, just kind of cool of, like, we are standing where they stood kind of vibe. Let's see. Let's see. I'm skimming for my next talking point if anybody else has anything to add.
I think the next big thing that happens is Glorfindel shows up.
Yeah. So who is he?
He's like a pretty powerful elf warrior.
Okay. I've definitely heard that name before. Was this one of the ones that's like, remember that name? Did we talk about this last week?
No, I don't think so, but he is mentioned more in the... Why am I blanking on the name right now?
Silmarillion or...
Thank you. Yeah, he's mentioned more in that.
Oh, I think maybe we did talk about that. I don't know. Anyways, okay. Obviously that is a very big change compared to the movie. I know book came first. I know. But like, obviously in the movie, we get Arwen. In the book, we get Glorfindel.
I do have a question for more of the more learned Tolkien scholars.
Go for it.
Here, I always felt like Glorfindel was a little bit of overkill to be sent out against the Ringwraith. I feel like that was kind of like a nuclear bomb hitting a tribal, like a Stone Age civilization. Is that not correct?
It's not far off. It's pretty much like, look, we want to make sure that this happens safely, so let's just put out the most capable possibly. Like, we're just not going to deal with this. There will be no chance of failure.
Although it sounds like they had a lot of different groups out, and so whether it was chance that they ran into him versus it was more destined, but he wasn't the only one out looking for him, right? It sounds like they had a bunch of different groups out,
Right.
looking for him, and they just happened upon, the very much overpowered one.
Mm,
Hey, this dude fights things much stronger in his sleep.
interesting. Yeah, I know that obviously Arwen was in the movie and stuff like that, but I did like I said very early on, is I did like the essence of this, like from when Glorfindel shows up to the end. I did like that a lot of very key points and a lot of like very notable events in these last handful of pages of the chapter got mentioned in the movie almost as a one-to-one. Again, character aside, just elf figure A, if you just say that it's an elf, period, it's like a lot of it was translated over, which was really cool. Like they mentioned that slight difference obviously is that like Glorfindel and Frodo on the horse like stay with them for a little bit up until the ring wraiths show up, which again is kind of a passive of time that we ignore in the movies, because right after Arwen shows up in the movies, they're on the move, leaving Strider and the rest of the hobbits behind, literally in their dust. Whereas this, again, we've seen this before, where there's like a little bit of space where like, okay, we're all still together, we're traveling, we're making progress, woo! And then it's like, nope, we gotta go, and I think even, was it, yeah, like even I thought, and it was cool too that Glorfindel also even admitted that the magic of the sword was beyond his powers to heal. And it's like, wow, like this must be some stupidly strong magic here. Which we know that it is, obviously, but that still is kind of like, wow, okay, like it's a little advanced for Strider. Oh, okay. But then you're like, it's a little advanced for Glorfindel. Yeah, and he gives Frodo some kind of relief. But then it's like Frodo is rather conscious during this. He's like, no, I will not. I shall not ride him. Like, I don't want to leave my friends behind. Blah blah blah. And everything. Let's see.
I do like that Frodo gets his heroic and selfless moments in this chapter.
Yes. I loved the end of this chapter.
Yeah.
It's like, so last 1, 2, for me, 2 and a little bit pages is like the let's just say 2 page. Well, yeah, 2 and a little bit pages, 2 and a little bit pages. Obviously the ring wraiths catch up to them and stuff, and that's when Glorfindel tells his horse to charge ahead and run, kind of thing. And they were just like, we're gonna keep up as best we can, with no hope of actually keeping up, kind of thing. And then they did the actual like 1-to-1 of the elf like phrase that Glorfindel yells at his horse to get him to go, kind of thing, which Arwen uses when she speeds ahead of the ring wraiths, which I love.
I do love that scene.
Oh,
That's
so good. So good. Like that scene I will never skip. Like if I'm just trying to hit my favorite parts of the movie because I need my Lord of the Rings fix, that scene, that whole thing, I will never skip. Anyways. Yeah, and then they keep going. They get into the river. I did kind of wish that there was that, epic moment, like where, Arwen kind of calls on the magic of the river. That was a really cool scene in the movie. And everything. However, like you said, like Frodo gets his glory hero moment here. Literally, he's sitting on he is probably like a speck on the back of this horse. and yet he is commanding the space, you know, telling them to go back to Mordor. And
He's got his little sword in his hand.
yes, and which is like a dagger to the rest of us. And you know, the horses come forward, and then literally quoting, "At that moment there came a roaring and a rushing, a noise of loud waters rolling many stones. Dimly Frodo saw the river below him rise, and down along its course there came a plumed cavalry of waves. White flames seemed to Frodo to flicker on their crests, and he half fancied that he saw amid the waters white riders upon white horses with frothing manes. The three, you know, blah, 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 blah." And it was just like, he's just standing there. I just picture this tiny little hobbit on the back of this majestic elven warrior's horse. And just like in the movie, that's the horse I'm picturing. And he's got his little dagger of a sword, and he's just like, "Come get me," you know. And they try and come get him, and it's like the elves, the magic of the elves had other plans. And then it's like, you know, that massive adrenaline crash. And, you know, then Frodo felt himself falling, and the roaring and confusion seemed to rise and engulf him together with his enemies. He heard and saw no more. And it's like, wow, like, look at him just like commanding that space against 9 ring wraiths. Like, all 9 of them were across the river. And he's just like, "Come get me." Like, gauntlet down, come get me. I don't know. It was just really cool.
His horse is probably like, "Dude, what are you doing, man?"
Yeah, it's like, we could have just kept going, but no. You had to challenge them. Fine. Does anybody have any other comments? I feel like we like steamrolled through that. My recording says we're at 34 minutes. We're killing it. Does anybody have any comments about anything else? Could be from any part of the chapter. Doesn't matter.
No, I don't really have anything today.
Damn. Well, let's see.
You know, I guess when I love
good.
when when we're reading the books, seeing the behind the scenes from the movie, and they talk about the scene where Arwen, you know, was riding with Frodo, and you know how many hours of footage they apparently took of that for us to get our 30 seconds on screen where she's trying to run away from them. And you know, apparently they had like 5 or 6 cameras on for all the video that took. It was just so much video of something that, once again, not quite in the books, the way they described it, but apparently they went a little overboard. And that's the one where Liv Tyler's talking about, how do you ride the horse? And they're like, yeah, you kind of just act like you're humping the barrel or whatever. You're humping the horse to make it look realistic, because they wouldn't let her on a horse going that speed at all.
Oh no. Yeah, and I love watching all of the, obviously, the horse, there's like that whole horse section of the behind the scenes. I can't even count how many times I have watched that. Shocker. But yeah, it's hearing them talk about the barrel horse and stuff is so funny. Because I think it's in Return of the King, it's Pippin on there with Gandalf from like all the stuff when he's in Gondor and everything, and he's sitting there and it's just, it's doing its thing, and he's just sitting there, he's like, "Are you guys serious? Like, is this serious?" And he's just looking at them like, "Are you kidding me that this is what we're doing?" Which is just a hoot. Yeah, I mean, yeah, what they did in that whole scene. Yeah. I mean, I could see Viggo Mortensen, doing that, but yeah, it takes that is, as an equestrian, that takes a lot of skill, what she did. So, especially on a horse of that magnitude. Anywho, all right, well, any final thoughts? I know I already asked that, but any final thoughts? All right.
Yeah,
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, I'm just checking. Okay, so it looks like we need to do just one more chapter again. So it'll be book 2, chapter 1, technically. Just because I just looked at what chapter 1 and chapter 2 combined would be, and it's like 40 pages, 50 pages.
Yeah,
So
Council of Elrond is long.
Oh, I believe it. So, excuse me. I feel like we'll do chapter 1 of book 2, which is many meetings, and then we'll just keep trucking along. We'll communicate and everything, but yeah, we'll do chapter 2, book 1 for next week. I don't foresee any reason why I personally can't be here, but we can always talk in the chat. But I appreciate you guys, as always, for the discussion. I always love hearing all of your guys' points of views and everything. It makes this much more interesting and exciting.
Well, thank you for hosting.
Absolutely. This has been such a fun little thing. So I appreciate you guys going along with me, as always.
Glad to be here.
Yay! All right, guys. I will catch you guys later. I'll see you guys in the Discord.
All right, take
Catch you
care.
on the flip side.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Raven.
All right, guys. So that was another really, really great discussion. This is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. So to see that they did take some liberties with it was kind of like, but still love that scene in the movie. Reading the book does not change my feelings on that scene in the movie. It's just so good. Anywho, if you guys have caught, oh my gosh. If you guys have been keeping up with the entire episode, I appreciate that you made it here to the end. Really means a lot. If you made it this far and you haven't already clicked that subscribe button, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And for next week, as I said, we're going to be reading book 2, chapter 1, which is called Many Meetings. So we're a little over halfway through the Fellowship of the Ring. Going slow and steady, but honestly, I'm really loving just it is manageable, it's doable, and I'm very thankful for that. Anywho, all right, I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you guys so much for being here. We'll be streaming this week, so swing by stream sometime. Be like, hey, found you from YouTube. Jim Rosevall 1 on everything. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, obviously. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, or X, Twitch. Yeah. So come find me on any of those. Would greatly appreciate the support. And I will see you guys, let's see, next week for book club or later this week in stream. Bye, everybody.